Sorry I didn't post last week, but I had the vid and my computer decided to crap out on me for a little bit. So let's start over for this week. Hopefully no more complications happen. I thought we would just start with these. Is that good? And sorry if you hear my roommates or construction. I live in Seattle. I had, in my other video before my computer decided it wasn't going to save, I had 30 minutes of me reading Reddit stories. So let me know in the comments date thing. It was interesting. But I was wearing the completely wrong shoes because he told me it was going to be that big of a incline and I would be fine wearing tennis shoes, so I wore tennis shoes. Big mistake. I fell twice. And it wasn't just the two of us. His friend was there. So they both saw me fall. Twice. But then we made it to the spot and we set up hammocks and it was really nice. And then going back, I remembered exactly where I fell because duh. So I didn't fall. But yeah, I'm very clumsy. It was a short story. I could tell a ghost story. So I grew up in a really old house. And I know it's so cliche to say that, but I did. And there were two instances that stick out in my head. One, I was downstairs, it was nighttime, and we lived by a street, but there was nobody on the street. I checked. And then I looked up and it was dark, but we had a street light, so you could see if there was like anything going on. I saw a full silhouette of a human walking against our wall, but there was nobody there. Nobody believed me, and I don't think I ever saw it again. Another story in that house was there was a ghost, spirit, or whatever you want to think of it as, entity that I named Bob. Bob could open locked doors. So if you're in the bathroom with the door locked, Bob could open it. As like a 13-year-old girl, I was like, hey Bob, little privacy please. And he would shut the door and it would still be locked. I never felt like any mean-spirited things in the house though. But Bob was a perv. So I'd be like in the bathroom brushing my teeth or whatever, and Bob would open the door, and I'd be like, hi Bob, could you please close the door? And it would close. The thing that I never understood though was how he would open locked doors and they would remain locked. I still, to this day, I'm 30 and I have no idea. It's just Bob. Another scary story. My ex-friend, and well, two of my ex-friends and I went to stay at one of their boyfriend's place for a weekend, just to have a weekend away. We were all of age, it was fine. But his house was haunted. So one of my friends, well now ex-friends, let's call her K. No, let's not call her K because I have a friend named K. Let's call her S. And the other one we'll call L. So L's boyfriend and she were in his room sleeping. And S and I were on like recliners in the living room sleeping. All of a sudden you hear stomp. was stomping and I just covered my eyes with a blanket and tried to sleep. It was so scary. And it came up the stairs and just like stopped in front of his room. I remember because I was like, S, but she was asleep, so she didn't even notice. I told him later. I told everybody later, but they were like, oh yeah, that's normal. I was like, that's not normal. That we went and watched Evil Dead in the theater. Like, yeah, we're not friends anymore. I have another story with them in it, though. They bullied me, so that's great. I have another story. Let's see. So, we'll keep the same vowels, or letter. We'll keep the same names. So, we were at L's house, and it was me, L, S, and we'll call him J. So, Jay and I were upstairs, and L and S went downstairs to get snacks. We were home at her house by ourselves, like her parents were gone for some reason, I don't know. But then we heard a loud crash. Jay and I heard a loud crash, and we went downstairs equipped with a pen. We didn't have any other weapons, so we had a pen, and just one. I had the pen because Jay was scared. So we went downstairs and we couldn't find them. We were like, oh, they have to be messing with us. They were locked in the garage. They couldn't get out. They were like, what is happening? Jay and I were like, that's weird. So we let them out of the garage because it locks from the inside of the house, and they were locked out inside the garage. Like they couldn't have gotten back in the house because it was locked. So we let them back in, and when we turned the corner to go get snacks, I don't know why the soda was in the garage. We turned the corner, and all of the, like, she had in her kitchen, there was like bar stools, like on a bar counter thing. All of the bar stools were turned upside down and like laying down, and we were like, that's weird. So we were trying to figure it out. We all just got freaked out and everything. So she went and got her dad's pew pew. Elle went and got her dad's pew pew, which I don't know why. But she thought there was an intruder or something, I guess. But it was weird. Anyway, she went and got her dad's pew pew, and when Elle went and got her dad's pew pew, S started acting weird, and Jay and I were like, what is going on? You got locked in the garage, all of the chairs were knocked over. S, are you feeling okay? Elle's got her pew pew. I don't know what's going on. So we tried to go out the back door because Jay had his car outside, and even when the door was unlocked, it wouldn't open. So we were struggling, trying to open it, and it had opened fine earlier, but it wouldn't open. We locked it, unlocked it, unlocked it, and it pulled, and it would not open. So at this point, we're like 17, 18, we're freaking out. We're like, who's in the house? Is there anybody that could be in the house? And I was like, no, I've checked everything. So, in that moment, S, like, drops, marionettes, when they drop, she dropped to the ground. I was like, oh my gosh, we need to make sure she's not, like, I don't know, having a seizure or something. So I was trying to go over to her, and I was like, stop. Something's wrong. So I was like, well, we have to go check on her. Hopefully she didn't hit her head on the hardwood. And all of a sudden, when you pick a marionette up, they're kind of limp. They're like this. So she got up, but she was like, her leg was, it looked like it was just floppy. Does it make any sense? Like a marionette voice. It was something else, and it was like, don't you want to play? And I'm like, you're not that good of an actress. What's going on? Because it was believable. And she started like, she had like to pull her leg along with her as she was moving. And I'm like, Jay and Elle and I were like, what is going on? And so Elle's pointing her pew pew at S, and I'm like, stop. And Jay is like, stop. And so then all of a sudden, S is like, do you want to play with me? And I know it sounds fake, but I promise you it was real. And she's like, S isn't here anymore. And we were like, what's your name? And she was like, Diego. And then she dropped again, and we were like, what is going on? So we went over and checked on her, and she came to, and I was like, S, are you okay? She hit her head, what's going on? She's like, what are you talking about? I was just trying to open the door. It had been like 10 minutes since we were opening the door. So we told her everything that had happened, and she was like,